This subject of the election cycle or electoral cycle and what it's doing to our governance. Our democracy has become more electoral than developmental. And also over the years, as the Institute IDEC, we have always looked at these two issues, the money, how we spend money on elections. And so after sometimes development programs suffer, and then after the elections too, the money is spent. And then we are in huge debt. World Bank, IMF reports always show this. Deficit goes up and so on. That's why IMF came in 2015, you see. So for us, raising this issue now is extremely important because the elections is 1 year ahead. It's going to set us all thinking. And whatever is resolved here or the issues that come have to be followed up to make sure that we don't really destabilize the economy. Because where we've attained or reached, we need more investment, but we also need continuity in government investments in education and health. It cannot be blown only on elections. But the most critical thing is that this thing is taking place only close to 3 months to the national referendum. And the national referendum, which is on Article 55.3, on the face of it is to say, do you want parties to participate in or not? But it's more than that, because if we say yes, parties must come into local government, means the whole local government system has to be reformed. And it would impact on the center, on our elections, on the resources that go to the districts, the district assembly common fund. Everything is going to be reviewed. Some will go up. Regulation of party finance, elections, the cycle would have to be rationalized. Do we need all? How much space do we have for development? So I think the Graphic and Stanbic must be commended. They've done something that we didn't expect it. That this is the critical, less than 3 months to the referendum, to bring this in. It could have a positive impact if people really understand the importance of the election cycle, the monetization that is taking place, the deficits that occur, the borrowing that occurs in elections because government wants to finish projects and so on. It will all change with the reform. So I'm very happy the Graphic and Stanbic have taken this topic. That's why I'm here.
We need to talk. That conversation is necessary for us to tease out the lessons and then build it up from there, But then the other thing is, for me, because my focus is so much on the private sector, I wanted to hear something about how these cyclical elections is impacting on private sector. In doing whatever we do, in governance and everything, how is it impacting on private sector? Is it helping to create an enabling environment for the private sector to flourish? Because whether we like it or not, this country can never develop without a private sector input. The private sector is the one that is going to be the engine of growth that we always talk about. But sometimes you are left to ask yourself, that engine, is it a Mercedes engine or is it a locomotive engine? You understand? Depending on the kind of support that is given to that sector, you want to ask yourself, what kind of engine are we talking about here? So I think that they made very insightful comments, about the fiscal economy, about what government has to grapple with in terms of the electorates and what they're expecting of them and what government is able to offer. But where I sit, I also think that there should be real, inputs as to where the private sector comes in, what is being done to improve private sector, work in Ghana, because the private sector is doing a lot. They're doing a lot of investments on their own. But what is government doing to help boost the private sector, as they told us right from the beginning? The first speaker, Professor Sibia, was talking about the fact that people often expect so much from government because they think that government has promised. But the reality is, governance is supposed to be governance. It's supposed to fuel development. So if you come promising that I will do this, I will do that, and you come and you don't do it, definitely the people will be looking up to you. And I think that indeed government is over-promising. So sometimes you realize that they don't even have what it takes to deliver on the promise. But because they have promised, the citizenry are holding them onto that. And that leaves them at no chance, but to just try and deliver something. So because of that, for me, I see that our development is not planned. We have structures, we have institutions, organizations that are supposed to be ensuring that we have a plan that we are working with. But I ask myself, what is our strategy as a nation? What is our plan as a nation? Where do we want to get to in the next 5, 10 years? What is the Ghana that we have in mind? Are we planning for future? Are we planning for future generations? Or somebody said we are just planning for the next elections. And until we are able to move from that thinking of planning for elections in fulfilling promises to where we are building for generations, our development will become a stunted growth because there will not be much that we will be able to hang on to. So I think he's right. Governments are over-promising, and so it makes people also want to hold them responsible for what they have said. You said you would do it, so do it. Let's see,